Hi ladies, good morning. I'm ready to start on a little exercise of how to create a Twitter account and link it to your LinkedIn account. I find this really valuable. I've gained a lot of followers on my first account. My Office MVPs account is just getting started, so you'll see not very many followers there, but that with time, over time, it all gets good, and people start following you because of the things that you're saying and expressing through LinkedIn. That's how I've gained a lot of my followers. I also went and got a bunch of them. There's places where you can, have people follow you and you're sharing the same information. This is really important. Industry-wise, your career. So why I use Twitter through my LinkedIn was to get more presence. And I think it's been really helpful in my career as an executive admin. These are, and I've come from the bottom up, ladies, gentlemen. I'm telling you, I've worked really hard at this. So it does work, but it's a process, and you have to stick to it, and you have to have quality, not quantity. You can see over the last couple years since I've been on Twitter, I've only got like 1,500 tweets. So because of the feedback I've gotten from my LinkedIn friends that say, you post relevant information that's very timely, and you don't overpost. And that's a key in keeping people's attention or their interest. It's not even about attention, I gotta have their attention. It's about keeping people's interest because you're sharing relevant information about things that are going on either in your industry, the career, or something you think is important. I don't often I am very cautious, let's just say, as in work, not to talk about politics on my LinkedIn. I keep politics and career separate. That's my Facebook. That's my private life, where I can express myself in a different way. But when it comes to, a lot of the, I use these social networks for, staying pretty straight. I think it helps. I think it gives a better presence and creates a quality line of information rather than just, the rhetoric that often comes when you involve politics and your professional career. So that is one item I would highly recommend if I am, since you're here, it is my understanding that you find what I say valuable. So that is the one piece of information I would take to heart is try to keep your professional career away from the politics. There's some things like when you see a news feed, that might affect like the food industry. I saw the other day. I thought it was really interesting, and I was glad they were doing it because I am a promoter for organic foods, and that information, that article was important to me. But it was an article, so all I did was repost the article. I didn't really share a perception or a viewpoint necessarily with a kind of a political agenda. So in that, I'm going to, we'll get right back to this if you'll just hang on a minute, and I'll show you how to link these together. So just a sec. This is my first Twitter account that I created, and that's why I was showing you this. And then this one is our new Office MVPs. So we hope to produce more followers, and I'm looking forward to really getting out here and creating a presence with our Office MVPs. And so I look forward to that, so you see what it's like to start out as a newbie on Twitter. and then I'll show you how to link this back to LinkedIn, and then that way, as you build followers, you know, you'll gain a different audience too. A lot of people will be following somebody else and they'll go, wow, I really like what that person had to say, that's really cool, and then they'll come and follow you. And that's a way, again, to create a presence out there for yourself in a professional manner that, you know, gets the attention of hiring managers, recruiters, because they're going to go look at your social profiles and say, wow, I really like the way that person presents themselves. This is very professional. And it's going to help you in your career. So with that, I will close this for a minute, and we will we'll get back to it. Just a sec. I have to go let the dog in. Something's going on with my box. Oh dear. And with that, that's what you call multitasking, right? All in a day's work. So we're back here with accessing or creating a Twitter account. It's real easy. You just go, let's see, where are these? Because I think I've already created my account. You just open Twitter up for a Twitter search, go to twitter.com. You know, it says sign in, do you have a login? And since you don't, you just sign up. So it's pretty simple, straightforward. Follow the directions and you'll have yourself a Twitter account. So once you get the Twitter account, you'll have what they call here, you'll see this at Office MVPs, Melissa D. Norgate at Office MVPs. That's your handle. So this is what you'll put in the LinkedIn account. So you'll copy and paste, and let's see, I'm going to go to my LinkedIn account. And so in my LinkedIn account, I'm going to go to settings. So privacy and settings, you're going to review. And there, I got to sign in. Even if you have yours open all the time, which I do on my personal computer because nobody uses it, so it's kind of it's an easy way. They can't hack it from the outside. They have to have your computer. You're going to go to manage your Twitter settings, see under here, so profile on the left, all these goodies, and at the top, settings, manage your Twitter settings, and then it says add another Twitter account, which I'm not going to right now because I found that when I have two accounts in this particular profile, that it doesn't allow me to choose one or the other. So this here is my original, the first one that I made, and then in Office MVPs we've put I've put my the Office MVPs Twitter account. So again, real simple to do, you guys, so easy. And then that way you save your changes, you know, then all your broadcasts go out. So for instance, you saw that, let's see, in here, in my personal one, right, yesterday I saw a really great article on, you know, calling for papers for international food price, you know, conferencing and volatility. I thought that was really good because, food is a very important resource in our lives, right? And I thought it was really, because of the people in my circle of influence, I thought it was very valuable for them to know this information. I also post often. I have a lot of recruiters that may not be looking for admins necessarily, because that's what Office MVP or the LinkedIn AOP group is for. And I'll post higher level electronic or technology jobs that come in from the recruiters that I know. So that's also a good thing because it goes out to the world. Once you build a cool following from a lot of different areas, don't limit yourself either to just admins. Build a really diverse network of different career people, interesting things. It really does help. Kind of stick to a genre, but become diverse. It's like owning your investment, a portfolio, financial. This is your financial portfolio, and you are your investment. So diversify your portfolio, but don't get too broad. I like to stick with my technology. I come from food handlers, and I'm kind of a farm girl, as you could say. I came from restaurant careers, nursing, and then administrative work. So my administrative work over time blended into these other from these previous work experiences, and that's how I've gotten to where I am today. But because of that, I've kept these kind of silos. So you can see, it's nursing, high tech, and food are important to me. So that's why I kind of chose those areas. You might do, and marketing. Marketing's another one. I really love marketing a lot. So the creative side of myself, and how social media works on building presence. You are marketing yourself. You're branding yourself with all of these tools. And I think that's what the key is in understanding how this is transpired, how social media marketing has influenced and built such a neat place for people who didn't have access before, and understanding how to bring and bridge those social networks together in a positive way that's going to brand you and create a positive, a professional image. That is, I believe, what's made me successful is because I did it right. So, don't look at my Facebook page. I have quite a crew of characters out there, very, very, they express themselves, but that's different. So, and then I have, not to jump too many topics here, but again, Facebook is a different social media, but you can create a business page or a professional page that doesn't, share your personal page with anybody. And so again, we'll get to that area later. That's a third step in this process. But again, the objective is to stick to a couple different topics. Don't get too broad. Don't get too political. Keep that all under the lid, maybe somewhere else. Again, in Facebook and stuff where you can express yourself. Everybody has a right to their opinion and share that that passion about something you're passionate about. So I think that's a good area forum for that, but not necessarily here. Keep this LinkedIn and Twitter connected as your professional ideal. So with that, I think I've explained some really good information about how to do this and why. So in your professional profile, we've been talking about, why your LinkedIn should look like your resume. So I'm going to get a copy of my resume, just a moment, and I will show you how I've arranged my resume to look like my that looks like my profile, really. And keeping a good file. Keeping a good file, course is always important. So as you can see, I have built my resume in such a fashion that it has won me. The door's open. So sometimes they're not so open because it's a higher level, and it tends to get a little more competitive up the top, I think, when you don't as you gain skills and experience, because there are fewer openings up at the top level. In a broader medium career area, you have a lot more opportunity because you're less, you don't have as much skill, and the dollars, they're not, they're within a good framework. A range of $12 to $16 an hour is a really good medium pay range for intermediate administrative assistants. The upper levels you would expect to see between 18 to 25. So, and then above that, maybe a very high-profile CEO or celebrity can pay a higher salary for your services. Right now, I'm in the junior executive level. I consider myself a pretty skilled executive level admin, and I'm looking forward to that career, advancing in that career direction. In the meantime, I'm here helping you, and that's what my passion is. So I'm glad you all could make it again, and I'm going to build this down a little bit, and we'll look at how I've structured my resume, and it does look like my LinkedIn profile. So up here, of course, my information. I put that at the top. You can center it. I don't like centering it. I think centering it looks, amateur. So as an amateur, and an entry level, it's a good thing to have that. You would have that in 3 levels of your name, your address, telephone number, and then your email underneath of it in a centered format here at the top, because you won't have as much in the body of your message. So it kind of, excuse me, it helps your resume to, fill it out a little bit, creates space, and white space is good, doesn't look bad. So here, and I know people may have their own preferences, but they haven't had to go through the technology industry like I have, repeated layoffs, and recover from this all the time. It's been 10, 12 years, and I've had many jobs because of layoffs. So I know from a fact that people are looking for the kind of resume that I created. They like my resume. They pick it all the time. And so where other people might disagree with the layout of my resume, it has won me incredible opportunities, and if you want to go with it, go with it. I think it's a personal preference, but as long as you have these particular criteria, associated with your resume, you're probably good to go. Again, professional summary, technical competencies, your professional experience. You want to have your schooling in there, your education, and then your special interests or awards. So down here at the bottom, like I've gone through the basic disaster support, so that makes me a really, a valuable person in a small office that can wear many hats. And the red hat, or yellow hat, is a person who understands what it, emergency information and how to get it and what to do in a case of emergency. So that's really an important skill. If you have an opportunity, get out to your community. They provide this training all the time. Learn it, understand it, and then you become a valuable player in a small office setting, because a lot of times other people don't have those. And then again, your fundraising activities, any, I haven't put in here recently because they're old, but you want to keep this fresh, like within 10 years, because in 2008 I did this, so that's not very old. But my scholarships and things like that I earned in late 90s, early 90s, excuse me, they're just not relevant right now, but it's kind of a good thing to have. It's a cherry on your cake, or your ice cream, as we would say. With that, I'd like to continue with, we'll start with the top. I gave you the highlights of the criteria that should be in your resume. Now we'll look down deeper into why. So in your professional summary, this should be something about yourself. I am highly motivated. I am a project specialist. I do have extensive experience in customer relations and managing a senior manager's office in a fast-paced environment. So those are factual statements about myself and the work that I've done to excel in obtaining the kind of work history that I have. I've, without stepping on toes or having an emotional intelligence to obtain the elements that I have in my resume, that's been, that is the key in success. So I feel like I'm very successful in obtaining the experience that I have because I have a lot of emotional intelligence for the most part. Everybody makes mistakes, and we run into certain situations that are not common or are incongruent, with our person. So you have to deal with those. But in your resume, you want to talk about the things that are you. So you get words, that describe what you've done. So this is a very tough part. This took me a long time to put the professional summary together. I'm telling you, it's not easy. So don't think that just because, but that's what makes, I had a saying yesterday. I said, it's all hard. Whether you choose to make it difficult. So you can make this difficult for yourselves or not. It's all hard. It's hard for everybody. But once you sit down and you do it, it becomes easier because you don't make it difficult. So don't make this difficult. Just sit down, get a couple people. I have in my in the bulleted list of items for us to talk about today that try to build a group maybe within your community, or I know they have one here local. There was a resume group that I joined early on when I was looking for work. Build a resume club, call your community, church or something, and get a club together. So you have a resource for people who can help each other with their resumes. So with the resume club that I joined, they were able to kind of pick apart things and eyeball proofreading. So like periods and spaces and commas and the little stuff, and then helping you devise the sentence structure or better words to use so you can get the layout going. And I'm very particular on this too. Be independent, be self-sufficient. Nobody can hold your hand. It's, time to grow up and you have to follow directions, read instructions, and then people are more willing to help you because they don't have the time either to handhold people and do the work for them. So that's why everything is hard. It's how difficult you decide to make it. So with that, I think team playing, if you can drive that in, if you're a team player, you'll have areas in your resume that you'll be able to say, I'm a team player because this is the project that I worked on. Also, too, we'll talk about the I, use of I, never in a resume, ever. So you can see, you don't see me saying, I did this, I did that, this and that and the other thing. I list my top technical competencies out at the top because I want employers and people to see the very value, what I am, where I'm at right now today on my applications and my technical competencies. So, I'm using Office 2014, and that's really important because people who are rotating out of their old applications, or upgrading in their business, need that person who's on it, who's got that edge to quickly catch on to new stuff that they may not be familiar with. So because they're just learning. So these are really valuable standout qualities for you to come up to the top. You don't want those down at the bottom of your page. I don't care what anybody says. You want those technical competencies up at the top. Let's take a. You can see I'm more concentric on computer applications, right? Because that's my job. And admins, that's our job. But there's a lot of other things that admins do that might be physical. You can see I put in here multifunctional devices, right? Back shipping and receiving. Those aren't always done online. Those are, you have to physically go down to the backs, your shipping and receiving areas. You have to actually physically work the multifunction devices. But again, knowing how to do these kinds of things is really important to an employer who's looking at administrative assistant. And since that's what we all are, it's very relevant for you. But yeah, even if you do things on your own time outside of work, list them in here. I worked on my own Visio, Publisher, live meetings, let's see what else. Well, and again, 2014, nobody's on that, but that's what my computer's running. It's a newer model. I bought it this year, and I'm on the Microsoft Office, and I highly recommend you guys getting it. It's $10 a month, I think, right? 10. So for $200 a year, you are getting the latest and greatest upgraded Microsoft Office experience. And who wouldn't want that? A lot of employers are still on 2007, maybe 10. Probably not a lot of them unless they're very small businesses. And 2003 runs really well. It's still a hardy XP, environment, but most businesses are up to speed on the latest Microsoft Office upgrades. So, technology. So with that, again, list your technical competencies up at the top. You want employers to know what you can do right off the bat. Are you a SharePoint expert? Yes, I am. Can you run an audio conferencing bridge? Yes, I can. Because these are things you're not going to list down inside you don't want this down inside your experience stuff. You want it up at the top. You can use some of those words, but they're you want this stuff right bubbling up at the top so people can see them. You save all of your professional experience for accomplishment statements. So, for instance, Adecco was okay, and I provided temporary coverage to Customer Contract Administration, right, KSC Group, and day-to-day operations. Kind of, it was smooth going. It wasn't as fun as being the executive assistant for Advanced Micro Devices, and that's why I've moved on from that previous experience or project, because it didn't fit who I was or what I'm capable of doing, and now I'm in a higher level functioning position, which definitely challenges all of the attributes that I hold in my abilities. So it's really important to find a good fit, and that's what your resume is supposed to be about. Displaying who you are and finding a good fit for you. No matter the dollar, they can pay high money, but the opportunity may not have the qualities once you get in there that actually fit for you. So I think that's why sometimes contract positions are really good, because you can understand whether it's going to be a good fit or not. So in Advanced Micro Devices, I got to do a lot, and I loved it. It was really fun. I got laid off, we closed that office, so that's just FYI, and those are the things you say when you go into an interview. It was a layoff. They closed our office, they consolidated the sites, and it is what it is, and everybody in your industry knows these things happen, so it's nothing to hold against you. And get fired. Getting fired is a really tough conversation, so we'll discuss that at another point in time. With that, so you can see in my resume, I have accomplishment statements. That's what we use when you are describing items that you work that you did in your position. So I conducted operational excellence by taking on the administrative role off the bat. Now, mind you, I'd had a couple months experience prior to this, which got me the foot in the door, and they called me back. But because I was able to come in, feet on the ground and hit the door running, it really helped them out a lot. They didn't have to babysit me, and that was really important to them, so they could focus on their work. I was independent, self-sufficient, and that is a very valuable quality when it comes to managing a smaller office, or it's a large they're large responsibilities within a small office. So I had to wear a lot of hats. I had to pay the bills. I managed my managers, my directors' calendars, and as well as some others. I made all the travel. I did hiring. We did space planning. I did the emergency information. I was the go-to person for emergency phone calls. So one night somebody left the window open and the alarms went off because at a certain time, all the sensors kick on, and they noticed the window was ajar, and they're calling me at midnight. Uh-oh. And they discovered, through their system that it wasn't really anything, just the window was ajar, and somebody went up and fixed it. So because they had 24-hour security, that was able to do that, but I was still the go-to point of contact. And then there was a fire outside. So again, that hat of wearing a disaster planning and emergency contact was really valuable. Knowing what to do in an emergency situation and get our people evacuated was a highly valued, I say, commodity in my experience. So you can have Saturdays off and Sundays off and evenings off, and my question to you is, what are you doing with your time? Time is money. How will you be spending yours? So the key point is to spend it wisely. Build yourself. If you have time, go take classes. A lot of community colleges do have administrative assistant certification courses that you can take. Again, the disaster planning, it doesn't take very many hours. I think it was 8 weeks for 2 hours a night once a week on a Wednesday. And then you add a Saturday, we had a Saturday drill, which was really fun. And people got decorated up, the moulage, I think they call it, and they got decorated up like injuries, and you went out and rescued them. And, you know, it was fun to interact with the firemen and the emergency crews and things like that. But I don't know what your area is like. It's just one area that I developed in myself to be, to add to my toolkit as a person in life. And so I really recommend you guys doing something extra outside of your work environment that adds value to your career. And over time, you can build a lot of those things up because they're short term, they don't take a lot of energy, they don't take a lot of time, and you can repetitively do something like that every week. So find something fun, you know, do not just sit there and play games on your laptop when you're at home or watch TV, and, you know, try to find something that adds value to you in your workplace. So that's my recommendation. Again, we'll get back to accomplishment statements. You know, establishing a well-rounded internal and external relationship is very important, right? You are the point of contact. Everyone that you come in contact with is your customer, your manager, the CEO of your company, all of the suppliers to you. They're your customers too. You know, they're bringing stuff in, you're their customer, but they're also your customer. And so interaction with people, I consider very much a customer support role because we're dealing with people all the time, and you have to, if you can look at everyone as a customer, you'll have a really good attitude about, okay, customer service is number one, and you should always have a great attitude, and it'll help you have a good attitude. So when you feel like going, oh boy, that guy's really a nag, man, you'll be going, oh, he's my customer, you know, and I don't want to lose that business. So it is your business, you know, to have good customer service. So again, creating a well-rounded and established relationship with people is very important as an office administrator. I was a complex calendar owner. You know, I did event planning, I did SharePoint. Those things integrate into calendar ownership. I effective time management scheduler, so meaning that I was able to see and understand the kind of the playing field of my manager's business, and know that, okay, in 3 months he's going to have to travel to this, that, or the other thing, and so we need to block that time out, find out, you know, be ahead 6 months, you know, if you can, of where your manager's going to have to be at those time frames. If he's going to travel, you want to block those times out or put reminders up in the calendar. So that's how I accomplished being a complex calendar owner. I'm an expert travel coordinator. Oh, knock on wood for this one though. You know, we all want to. I have never missed a travel arrangement. I am so blessed. But it's through due diligence, follow-up, attention to detail has been key in understanding, you know, what it takes to be a great travel coordinator. So I can say for myself, you know, that I am an expert in travel coordination. So we'll get back to the I's in all these bullet points you see here in this one little section. There are no I's in there. I did not do anything. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. It's all about accomplishment statements. Take out the I. You conducted, you exceeded, you established, you you are, a complex owner. So you want bullet points, not the I's or my or me. Nothing about, those third, I don't know what they call those. I'm bad with that. They're, so yeah, you're gonna shorten this, concise, limited. And then you can add, like Michael Vermillion, one of my managers, he gave me a recommendation which I allowed me to use this in my resume. I took responsibility on all office administration with minimal direction, no failures. We had some issues with bills getting paid prior to me arriving, and that was taken care of through my ability to come in and manage the system. So that was why I was given this accolade. But again, you will word the things you have. I can't, I wish I had an ability to look at all your stuff and try to help you with your own personal resumes, and I don't have that kind of bandwidth. I'm hoping eventually, and it might be too late for some. I know you're hurting right now to get this in order. But if you can use mine as an example, you have a good start. Go to your parents. Go to an old manager. Find somebody who's an expert and that can help you address your resume if you really think you need a lot of help, or you really think it could be better. And everything can be better. I have worked and worked, and I'm probably going to rework this again, because I'm sure I'll see new ways to do my resume better, or input from people who said, I really like your resume, but you should, consider changing this or that or the other thing. And I'll consider it. So be open to people's critiquing. It's not criticism. So don't be offended. Just be open. And I think that is, again, an attitude about being an admin. Sometimes if we get too locked into a position, you get a bad attitude. Like, I'm the greatest thing out there in the whole world. Well, you never are. People are expendable, A recent occurrence was that I saw in the news, somebody who was high level, man, they let him go after 23 years. Everybody's expendable. And so you have to constantly have a positive attitude that, boy, they could let me go anytime, or I may not fit in with this group. So, and don't try to make yourself fit. If you're not a good fit, leave. There's no shame in that either. Again, that's why I think contracting is a really great way sometimes to help find people that are good fits for companies. Because if they really like you and they want you, they'll keep you. And then, that's where you can exceed too, in being a great employee with a great attitude, something positive. Don't get ingrained with I'm higher than thou. Always look at yourself with I can do something more, better, without being obtuse. You don't want to be arrogant either. You want to do it with humility and be humble. Just quietly, because the loud ones will tend to be let go. You don't want to outshine your manager. Your manager is the guy with, that needs to shine, and you're there to support them. You will shine, in your own time, in your own place, through your work. Your manager will recognize you, and that's how you get your raises. That's where you successfully succeed in the next step, or find a new job within the company because you've exceeded expectations, and there's an opening with a higher level manager, and your manager's, yeah, you go for it. But you have to have a good rapport with them. So with that said, I think we're going to end this session. I hope I've covered a lot of information and bases for you to think about and follow through on. I didn't get to, okay, we'll go for a few more minutes because I didn't get to show you how my resume looked like, my profile. So now we'll go over to LinkedIn really quick. I've got a really bad sore throat, you guys, and I apologize. But this is, so we'll go to my profile and how I've developed my profile kind of in the same way. Now here I got to say something a little different about myself, a little more in the summary, which is what they give you, but it's still something similar to your professional summary. You know, I've got to expand on what I do and myself. And here you can say the I's, you know, because LinkedIn is a different platform for speaking about yourself. This is all about you. Your resume is all about you, but it's less about you and more about your accomplishments and, you know, what you're going to bring to the table for an employer. So yeah, I'm industrious, right? Didn't that say that in my resume? You know, boy, I'm hit the ground running and self-starter. So very autonomous, and obviously I enjoy public speaking. I'm not shy, really, so but I'm quiet, and I enjoy personal development. I think the more I can help you develop yourselves, the more I develop myself, and people have developed me, and without them, you know, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I give all the appreciation to my previous employers, all the people I've worked with, my family, friends, community, some of my community. No, I'm kidding. My community. And you guys, without you, I wouldn't be here talking to you. So thank you for coming and joining us. I'm so happy you're here. And I hope I have a lot to offer you as far as information and attitude. I hope attitude is half the battle. I have worked with computers since '87. I started out in nursing school working on Macs, and I was a newsletter editor. That's how I got to figure out, you know, what a Excel spreadsheet looked like before they were Microsoft. They were Macs, and you know, I couldn't have earned my papers without having access to the computer room. So that was a really big bonus for me. Again, that's how you do it, you guys. If you want to be successful, you find ways to enhance your skills that other people aren't interested in doing. We had 400 or 800 people in a private college, and nobody wanted to be the newsletter editor. So I'm like, wow, I'll sign up. You know, I got access to the computer rooms. Are you kidding me? That gives me 24-hour access to a computer system, and I put myself to work. So as a student aide as well in my nursing school, you know, I utilized all of the opportunities that I had to enhance my knowledge base, my skill sets, and, you know, they're out there, but you have to be like a treasure hunter. You have to be hungry. You have to look for that stuff. Adults, it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what section in life you are. There are gold nuggets everywhere. But you have to be hungry enough and desire enough to go look for those. Because I was capable and I got hands-on, and yeah, you can call it inclination or ability or not. I don't think so. I think it's just a mindset of, you know what, I'm going to go learn how to do this. It is hard. I've never done it before, but I'm not going to make it difficult, because the more difficult you make it, the harder it is to do it. So there was a time when I took out all the wiring of my Volkswagen Bug because I want to put in new stereo speakers, but I had to put in a new box. You had to put in And I have never wired anything in my life, right? So I had to read all those instructions. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was challenging. But once I got it done, I did it, and it was so easy after that. I'm like, oh my gosh, a red, yellow, green, and blue wire, right? How hard can that be? But when I got into it and I looked at all the instructions, I thought it was just like reading a foreign language. But once I got it done, it was like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. And everything else could be easy. So by that time, that's how I got to build computer systems, because I overcame a really hard obstacle in the very beginning, on my own, by doing something, on my own that I'd never done before. I had to put in a stereo system in my Volkswagen. So again, on my own time, I pushed through a really, really difficult situation that I had never encountered before. But once I got done, it was wow, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was. So you can see here again that summary statement, but I get to add more information into it through LinkedIn. So, but keep it the same. You have to. This is who you are and about you. You're not phony. You're not false. You can back up what you're saying through examples. So I just gave you an example, 2 examples of how I was able to accomplish being in the computer industry and what led me to more higher level advanced career development and career opportunities, because I took on these smaller roles and I was accomplished at it and worked through the difficulties. I succeeded, and it led to more responsibility. So that's what I'm telling you. When you can achieve simple successes over time, you become, that's your legacy of accomplishing higher level responsibilities. So if you can't do the small stuff, you can't expect to advance into the higher level responsibilities. So make sure you get the small stuff right all the time. And then so here I have my resume, kind of like my technical skills, right? Here's my specialties, my technical skills, and I've got a few examples of work in here that make it a little bit like the technical competencies. But again, these are things that I've done outside of my career environment that are examples of work. And back up, how I've achieved certain criteria, certain success milestones. So here, here's my my legacy of my career history and experience, and then I think it goes by timeline, so it's not as easy to put in it's not as easy to build your resume, but my resume is chronological order. So even though I have some personal things here, like I was the chair for the Five Oaks Triple Creek NAC Association, and this is where they'll do it. It's still chronological, so that's important. It still follows my resume. You get to put your recommendations in there. That's really important. So I appreciate that. And then down here at the bottom, here's your extracurricular summaries and things. This is really good. And then people who support you in your career and verify that you in fact are a person of this nature that has has accomplished milestones in your career, and they're verifying that with their validation. So this is where you get validated, your endorsements. Some of them, they say, oh, LinkedIn, endorsements are kind of fruity. They're because a lot of people will endorse you that never worked with you. But over time, if they're part of your circle of influence, they've gotten to know you. And you should trust that they're not going to give you an endorsement unless they believe in you. So they're watching. And that's why it's really important to build a really good, solid network and circle of influence. Right now, my circle of influence is built around people that I have interests with, not necessarily the admins. And I want to forgive I hope you'll forgive me. I built the admin group to network with you all on that level. I cannot, it would not be quality and valuable to me to network with all the admins in the group. There's 83,000 people in our group. What I value is that you are in my group, and that's where I network with you. I see the posts and the discussions and the concerns and your personal, addressing of issues, and I can read that, and it's easier for me to keep track of all of you in that realm than it would be on my professional, my personal profile. So I want you up front to understand that if I decline you, it's nothing personal. It's because it would overwhelm me. I'm sort of a lion, what they call a leading international open networker, but I'm not, because there's information and topics that I want to hear from industry leaders. So like Intel is one, AMD, I've got other people, managers, they're in certain industries, and they talk about topics that can bubble up that I would miss if I was overwhelmed with a lot of people. So I guess with that said, I encourage you as well to keep your network of quality, not quantity. And don't just limit it to admins. Bring in your managers, bring in other industries or people in your community with the similar interests, like a business, a small business. I have a wide range, in a sense, of well, I don't. No, I don't. I have a diverse range, but it's not a wide range. Again, I've kind of siloed it in certain areas. It's small business, some recruiters, people that I've worked with in my past, all the way to 2000 and, oh my gosh, I don't know. Yeah, even farther back than that. But I go back and I draw back on the people that I've worked with, that are in my community, that I built relationships with over time. And these are really valuable. So make your profile a value-related place for you to derive and extract value from, not just quantity. So I guess that's my last nugget, and they call them pearls, but I say gold nuggets. If that's anything of advice that I can give you, stay quality, not quantity, and diversify in your networking. The people who network with you will find value in you as well, because you're not just, spewing stuff out. You're being focused. You're staying concise and relevant, and that is going to help you advance in your career. So that's the end of our session. I hope I've haven't overspoke or underspoke. These sessions are only supposed to be like 30 minutes, but I had an opportunity, and I took that, and I hope you get value out of this, and can replay it and save it to your hard disk, and go through it step by step, maybe frame by frame. I know I said a lot, but I think what I said was quality, and I hope you get that value out of this session. Again, our future sessions, they're anywhere from 30 minutes. They're supposed to be 30 minutes long. I don't want to take a lot of your Saturday time. These were supposed to be like little short coffee talks. That's what was my vision for our Saturday strategy sessions, is kind of like, oh, getting together in the coffee shop and chit-chatting, having a cup of coffee, and then everybody's off on their Saturday running about their business. And I really hope you enjoy your day. So I look forward to visiting with you and your feedback, and I hope this has been of value to you. Thanks so much for attending. And we look forward to next Saturday's strategy session. So make sure you go visit OfficeMVPs.com. Look in your email and your junk folders, because they, our announcements and our emails may go in there. If you're using Google, remember it has multiple tabs for the different types, your main information, forums, and social media and such. So look in all those tabs, and I look forward to visiting with you in the future. Wait for our Wednesday announcement of next week's topic, and we look forward to visiting with you again. Thanks so much for attending. Have a great day. Okay, I can't figure out how to do this. Stay. Honey? So he has to fix it, right?
Are you going to be home?
Later. He's got a friend coming over, and I'm sick as a dog, and I'm just working on something. Oh my God, I'm just sick. I came yesterday and a sore throat, and I don't want to get them sick, so I have the best job ever. Please, Lord, please. Yeah, well, I can open a new account, but it's still, I have to wait till March, but because I worked. That's the only reason. Oh no, I want my job so bad. I just have the best manager. I adore these guys. I'm just like, oh please. I'm keeping that under hats until I get it. I'm keeping that under hats until I get it. I'm not going to jinx myself.
Oh, just temporary?
Yeah.
Oh, you're on 3 months?
Well, 2 to 3 months, we'll see. But they're looking to expand and hire, so there's going to be a definite need. But there's already an executive happening with it. So we'll see how things go and transpire. Anyway, I'll have him come over and get it later tonight when he gets home. Oh, let me have it then. Oh, he'll fix it. I'll make him fix it.
He's got some of his apps on here now that I don't want.
I know. I'll take care of it, Dorothy, and I'll make him remove it. I'm so mad at him. It's not your fault. It's his. You should have never asked. So he's manipulative.
But now we don't have to worry about that telling because he's
He's not
Yeah,
gonna borrow
use
it
it
ever
again.
again, ever.
That's right.
Yep, and that's why. Yep. Okay,
Okay.
I gotta go, hun.
I know.
I'm
sorry you're sick.
No, thanks so much. We'll get it fixed.
Okay, thanks so much.
Okay, yep. I got this damn thing running. I have to cut it off. Ah! What the hey? Why is this doing that? Oh, there. That's great.